Formagi YouTube video k lia oper jo tum ny story lik kdhs k oper tai men strong hook lik k do. Hook jandar. Suspenseful our curiosity si barpor hona chaye k mary vauer engage ho jn our video ko ntk decan and a night when the rain fell heavily. I sat alone in the kitchen. The hot cup of tea still sending up small wisps of steam. The sound of rain hitting the window came in uneven beats. The light from the lamp reflected on the raindrops on the glass, casting shadows that trembled and looked strangely alive. My hands shook slightly as I lifted the cup. The strong scent of tea mixed with the damp smell of rain, making my head spin. I heard something soft from the corner of the room, as if someone was walking, but when I looked, no one was there. I swallowed and tried to calm my heart. But the sound came closer, again and again. My breath became shallow. My heart thumped so hard it felt like it would burst. Suddenly, I noticed the surface of the tea shaking, as if some invisible force was disturbing it from below. The lines of steam rose into the shape of a person staring at me. A chill ran all over my body. Fear kept me frozen. My eyes locked on the cup of tea. And at that moment, the footsteps I thought had disappeared sounded again. Much closer the footsteps grew louder, echoing against the walls of the small kitchen. Each tap against the floor seemed deliberate, patient, waiting for me to react. My hands tightened around the cup of tea, and the steam scalded my fingers. I tried to tell myself it was only my imagination. The storm outside had already put my mind on edge. Rain battered the windows with violent force, each drop like a hammer. Lightning flashed, illuminating the kitchen for a brief, blinding instant. In that flash, I thought I saw a shadow standing just beyond the doorway. It was tall, thin, and unnaturally still. My pulse skyrocketed. I wanted to scream, but my voice would not come. I could feel the weight of the silence pressing down on me. Even the storm seemed to pause, holding its breath. The shadow shifted, subtly, but enough to make me certain it was not my mind playing tricks. I tried to put the cup down, but my fingers fumbled. The tea sloshed dangerously close to the edge. Steam curled up like ghostly fingers reaching for me. Then, the shadow moved again, closer this time. Not a step, but it flowed, as if it were gliding over the floor. I could hear the faint scraping of nails against the wooden boards. It was soft, horrifyingly deliberate. I forced my eyes toward the corner where it had first appeared. Nothing, only the empty space, the dark walls, and the reflection of lightning on the wet floor. I blinked, trying to steady my breathing. The cup of tea trembled violently in my hand. I heard a whisper. It was faint, almost drowned out by the storm, but it was there. A single word, low and chilling. Watch. The word sent ice racing down my spine. I wanted to throw the cup, run, escape the kitchen, but my body refused to obey. Every muscle was paralyzed with fear. The steam from the tea thickened suddenly. It swirled unnaturally, forming shapes I could not immediately comprehend. First, a hand, then an arm, then an entire figure rising slowly from the surface of the tea. It was translucent, almost like mist, but horrifyingly human. Its eyes were hollow, yet piercing, locking onto mine with an intensity that stole my breath. The room seemed to shrink around me, walls closing in, lights dimming. I dropped the cup. The tea splashed across the counter and floor, but the figure did not waver. It emerged fully, standing beside me, or perhaps on top of me, I could not tell. A coldness seeped from it, like ice sliding down my spine into my chest. My heart pounded in my ears. I could feel its presence, oppressive and intimate, pressing into every corner of the room. I tried to speak, to call for help, but no sound came out. The storm outside roared in response, as if echoing the terror in my chest. The shadow raised one hand, pointing directly at me. Then it spoke again, in a voice that was not quite human. It repeated the word from before, but this time louder, harsher. Watch. And then, the room changed. The walls stretched upward into darkness. The floor seemed to tilt beneath me. Reflections danced in every window, twisting my own face into grotesque versions of myself. I stumbled backward, hitting the table, knocking over a chair. But the figure followed, always just beyond the edge of my vision. I ran toward the door, desperate to escape, but it was gone. The kitchen had expanded impossibly, endless darkness stretching in all directions. The only light came from the cup of tea, still steaming, still alive. And inside it, the figure was multiplying. Faces. Horrible, twisted faces pressed against the surface, silent screams frozen in their expressions. Each one turned to look at me, eyes wide and unblinking. Their mouths moved, forming words I could almost hear but could not comprehend. I fell to my knees, my hands clutching the floor. The storm outside had stopped, leaving a deafening silence. But the whispers inside the room grew, hundreds of voices overlapping, chanting a single word over and over.